What's up, guys? This is Luke and Phil again, back at it with another podcast. Appreciate all the support on the last one. We've gotten quite a few views and gotten some good feedback from some people. This one's going to be a lot more lighthearted than that one. Just kind of make it a little funny, still give a little advice, still do some stuff like that. But Phil, how's your day going today?
It's good, man. It's good. We starting to get in the rhythm of things here and figuring out like scheduling behind this, and I think that's good for us. And I'm really starting to enjoy it too. Yeah. You know, when every time we sit down, I think that we make a lot of progress, and like our own opinions. We're like, oh, I didn't even realize that I felt that way, and that's how you feel. You know, I think at the end of every podcast, we both talk about it and go like, holy crap, that's kind of cool.
I will say it was pretty cool last week. I had probably 3 or 4 people like reach out and be like, that's something I really never thought of, or that's something I really needed to hear. And so that was kind of sick.
Yeah. So I think that in the long haul, I think that that's kind of what we're going to be focusing on, is touching on stuff that isn't talked about a lot, and definitely isn't mainstream or
isn't talked about the way we're going to talk about it, because we have our own opinions and we're not afraid to voice them.
It's true. Yeah, not very orthodox, I would say.
No.
We got some. We're gonna have a guest star this weekend. We're gonna do a couple fun podcasts with this individual, and so keep that in mind. It'll be in the pipeline. There will be some good ones, and a really serious one that I'm looking forward to, and I know Luke is too. Yeah. But Luke, I guess we're gonna kind of keep it kind of casual and kind of give our thoughts and experience on some stuff. So, what are some things in past relationships, whether you're on a date and seeing a red flag, or you're well into a relationship or a month into a relationship, where you have gone afterwards, you've gone, I should have seen that, or I should have not been so blind to what I saw, or listen to my friends, or etc. What are some things that stick out to you? I've got a few. I've got some that I've realized over time of like, okay, wow, I was stupid. What about you? You have any of those?
I think we all have some of those. We'd be lying if you look back and you're like, I made all the right decisions in all my relationships. Either that, or you're married probably after your like first relationship. Yeah, but I would say like the biggest things that I look back and notice is just like maybe like hypocrisy in relationships, to where I was told that I couldn't do something, and then that person would go and do the same thing, and I was like, well, like, I guess it is kind of different. She's a girl, I'm a guy, things like that. But in reality, looking back, it's like, no, like if I'm not allowed to sit there and have friends that are girls, then why can she have friends that are guys? Like that's not an actual example. I'm not gonna like go to actual things, but like hypocrisy in that way, where it's like, okay, you said I couldn't do this, but then like 2 weeks later you did the same thing. And that's probably my biggest pet peeve now in relationships too. And any girl I date, like if that happens one time, it's an automatic like I'm done. Which is probably a little harsh, but that would probably be my biggest one. Just like little things, just like being rude to waiters. I don't know, that's always a big thing to me. I used to be a server, and like if you're just like totally bitchy to the server, and I'm just like, okay, like chill. Like if I don't get the right food or something, I don't want the girl that yells at the server. Like it's not the server's fault.
Have you had any experience with that? Like have you been with someone who has done that?
I usually date pretty chill girls, so I actually have not had that experience in my lifetime. But like I guess like my grandma does it, and it drives me nuts. That obviously wasn't like a date setting, but I just like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, if I was ever with a girl that was doing this, I would be petrified. I'd be mortified. Like that would be awful.
It'd be so uncomfortable. Yeah, I've never been with someone like that either. I would say I do like the strong-headedness of being like, I'm gonna get what I want in a relationship. But I don't like it being the overshadowing everything, where like that's the personality of the person I'm dating. I think that's a big red flag when you're dating someone and kind of their persona is built around like, oh, I'm this bulldog, and like, no one can tell me what to do. Like, even me, who is very strong-headed, like, I know when I need to sit my ass down. And sometimes I've been with people who will straight up tell me, like, no, you can't tell me what to do, even if I was just, like, trying to express how I felt about something. Like, hey, I really didn't like when you did this, and I've literally been told, no, you're not going to tell me what to do. And so there were a couple times where I didn't cut it off there, and I really just should have noticed, like, all right, time to back off here. But now if I saw that, it'd be like, okay, no way. Like, you need that's a sign of immaturity to me, I feel like.
Yeah, this could end up being a rabbit hole, and this was not planned at all. But one of those things to me that sounds like is the big feminist movement now. That's, I don't consider it actual feminism, but it's like, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, all those people where it's like, I'm a strong, independent woman, and I do whatever the fuck I want, and I was gonna cut it out, but like that's really the mindset that they have. Like, they're gonna do what they want, and they don't need a man. I don't need a man for nothing.
Yeah.
And to me, that makes relationships so difficult because it takes two people. And now there are a lot of guys that, like, it's obviously not a movement, but there are a lot of guys that are the same way where it's like, I'm a guy, I'm going to do what I want, I don't care, I don't need a girl for this stuff. And like, those aren't the types of people that you can really build real relationships with. And I think that that's something that you probably noticed going forward where it's like, okay, like, I don't like that you did such and such, and I just wanted to like talk to you for 3 seconds about it, and you're like, no, I'm gonna do whatever the frick I want, and like, don't talk to me, which is completely obnoxious. Obviously there's some things where like maybe you overreact to something, but if you have a conversation about it, you're open to that, then like at the end of it you can be like, you know what, I didn't think of it from that perspective, actually that's not a big deal to me, but thanks for having the conversation with me. And that a lot of that isn't had with those people that are strong-willed like that.
And I don't even know if I would label it as strong-willed, because I feel like that's a positive. If you're strong-willed, it's really immature to me. It's immaturity of just like you said, like, I don't need no man, I don't need nobody telling me what to do. Like, that is commonplace. And I'm to the definition of it, I'm a feminist, and I assume you are too.
Yeah.
But this fourth wave feminist bull crap where it's like, no man is gonna tell me what to do. I'm gonna put everything out there on OnlyFans. I'm gonna post my nudes everywhere. I'm gonna be flaunting on every single social media. Like, that's not what guys are looking for in a serious relationship. No guy who's worth anything wants to have a girl who has pictures out there or who talks about herself like, oh, I'm gonna do whatever I want. If I want to go dance on a stripper pole, you can't tell me otherwise. If I want to go out to the bar and have everything being shown to everyone, like, you can't tell me how to dress. Like, well, I agree. I can't.
You have that freedom. You can do whatever the frick you want.
That is true. But what I'm saying is, it's this mindset of, and tell me why, even though women right now have the most freedom of any generation in the history of the entire world, are also the most unhappy out of any generation of women in the history of the entire world.
I would argue that a lot of that too, and I would even say a lot of men that really support that way of thinking and, kind of date those girls and like, they're into that lifestyle of, this girl's in charge and I'm just kind of like here for the moment.
It's a simp. It's literally a simp.
But like, you're going so far against your biological norms. Like, your body, your mind has evolved to a point where it's like, that's not what we're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Like, speaking from, I'm not a huge evolution person, we won't get into that, but I absolutely believe in microevolution, and the human body has evolved to a point where men hunted, and your brain was designed to go out, get food for the woman, bring it back, and support her. And obviously, we don't need that anymore. We can go to the grocery store, you can go to the grocery store, both people can supply food. But your brain, in some sense, is still wired to do masculine things, to do feminine things. And when you really fight that wiring, you're not going to feel like yourself. You're not going to feel normal.
Yeah.
And so I think that part of that is like going against your biological norms makes you feel less happy. It makes you feel less like you're supposed to.
Yeah, you don't have a purpose that you have hardwired. Like, you look, for thousands of years, human beings, the men were the providers, always, and the women stayed at home, and they did their motherly duties, which are just as important, if not more important, than what the men did. But the men were the protectors, and etc. And now I think you see that went on for thousands of years, and then all of a sudden, within the last 40, 60 years, that is completely flipped because of the new mindset. I get it, like you were saying, it doesn't need to be that way anymore. But I think that there are a lot of groups of people, and don't get me wrong, men are struggling with mental health and being the most depressed age group of all time because of the same thing.
Yep.
They feel like they have no drive. They're not fulfilling that biological purpose that they have done for literally thousands of years. and it's all of a sudden this switch flipped in the last 60 years. Like, no wonder people are lost. That's why people aren't getting married until they're well into their 30s now. The average marriage age in the United States, I don't exactly pin it on me, but it's like mid 30s or something. Our parents, even our grandparents, it would have been like 21 maybe.
I will say that has to be skewed by remarriage. Like, just if it's mid 30s, that would have.
I'm not sure if they calculate that into it. It might be first time marriage, but I'm regardless.
Yeah, it's way higher than it was.
Regardless, there was way less divorces back then too.
Yeah. Well, I do think that some of the women empowerment was good because, like, women deserve the right to vote. They live here. They obviously, women are smart enough.
That's traditional feminism.
Yeah, no, and that's what I want to put out here, just to make sure that we're not like crossing any lines, or I'm crossing my T's, dot my I's here. We're not against traditional feminism, where women deserve the right to work if they want to. Women deserve the right to vote. All of that stuff. You should be equals.
Yeah.
But okay, you know what? And on top of like this. Another red flag. Okay, here's another red flag. When a girl is like feminist in the way, like, open my car door, buy my dinner, do all that stuff. I love that shit. Mm-hmm. I love doing that stuff. It's my.
I hope she's not demanding it like that. Like, I just want to do it.
Even if she demands it, not a red flag to me in its own regard.
Fair
but
enough.
If it's also like, okay, but I'm also going to do my own thing. I'm also going to do all the stuff that comes with being this fourth wave in, like, feminist thing.
Yeah.
But I also want you to open my car door, and I also want you to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
No, you don't get the best of both worlds. If you want to be strong and independent, you want all that stuff, you can take half the bill. You can open your own car door. And I would never date a girl like that because that's not what I want in life. Yeah. I want a girl with traditional values and things like that. But it drives me nuts when they expect both things.
Best of both worlds. Yeah. No, I agree. And I would say a majority of the girls I've dated have been that way. Like, I think it would be very hard to find a girl who does not like and respect if you have manners and you are doing those traditional things on a date or while you're dating someone, holding doors open for them, or you're buying their dinner, or you're making sure you give them their coat when it's raining. I don't think there's very many girls that would not like that. I think there's probably very little.
And the best part of that is that's literally like to me and you, we probably consider that like the basics of
I know, like that's number one.
You do that for a girl and like she melts. Her heart melts for you on a first date. Like, that's not commonplace. It's not done normally.
Sadly.
And it should be just like, honestly, just being a decent human being at this point. If you go on a date and you're like not a jackass, that's like winning the date.
The hardest part, in my opinion, and I don't know your opinion on this, but in my opinion, the hardest part in the modern dating world, and kind of you and I being single and dating around somewhat, I've found the hardest part is getting them to that first date. Once you get there, you would make such a good impression if you're literally, like you say, a halfway decent human being, that all you got to do is get there. And so you really got to master that part of it. And then the rest is really easy, and it's in your bag now. The girl is the one who determines whether you go on the date. Like, really, that's how it works. You can reach out to 50 girls, and one of them gets to determine if you get to go out with her. Then after that, it is in your control. And if you're going to screw it up, that's going to be on you. Obviously, talking about red flags and stuff, she could screw it up, but you need to be the one that makes that decision long term.
I will say definitely girls have way more options when it comes to like getting to the date. But I do think that as far as like good dates, there are a lot more good girls to date than there are good guys at our age. But those good girls are known by everybody, and there's 50, 60 guys in her DMs just trying to be like, hey, I know you're really cute. I know you're a good person.
Yeah, or they're already taken.
Or they're taken, yeah. And so, like, it's really tough to get to that date, and most of that is because they have all these options, and they're trying to sort through, okay, is this guy just another jackass like the last 20 people I've went on a date with? Yeah. And I'm not like, ratifying girls as far as innocence, because there are a lot of not great girls now that has not been, I feel like that's more common than it has been, to where like girls, they know that they can do what they want and they use that to their advantage.
Yeah, but again, they're unhappy. Like I was looking at stats earlier, and it literally shows the amount of people, and again, with the mental health stuff, it is more prevalent to where more people are going to be seen or talk about it. So I do get that part. It is going to be skewed just because it is more common to talk about it and be able to express, I'm having an issue, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I get that. But it is literally an exponential graph, of just like when mental health started coming into it in the 20s, 30s, 40s, when people actually started realizing, okay, psychology is a thing, to then all of a sudden 60s, 70s, 80s, it just skyrockets. It's crazy. And then once 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, it is off the charts. And it's crazy to see that when you think of like, okay, well, now both genders have all these choices. They have all this freedom. Especially girls have, in my opinion, more freedom, like you were saying, in the terms of they get to be the choosers.
Yeah.
And they're not happy. I think it might be because traditionally it's the men that are the choosers. But there's a lot of guys in our generation that are either too much of a wimp to be a chooser. They're not going to go out of their way or out of their comfort zone. And I think that is extremely important, especially in showing a girl, okay, you have confidence. We obviously know that that's important. And she doesn't want to, if all you're doing is DMing her, like, okay, she has 60 other dudes. You are absolutely nobody. You are not a confident guy. You don't go out of your way to do something. The in-person touch makes a huge difference. And I think that the reason that so many girls are unhappy right now and so many girls are having these problems, just like guys, is because there's not that traditional approach to dating anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
This is going to be intense.
Great. Come on, man.
I mean, not that intense. It'll probably be a little funny, actually.
Okay.
Would you date a girl if she had OnlyFans at any point in her lifetime?
Full on everything on OnlyFans?
Full on everything, dude.
No, I would not. I could not take someone like that home to my parents. If they, like, I know it wouldn't be something I would ever bring up. Like, say she did it for a week and then decided not to do it. That means that there's that lapse in judgment that was okay at some point. And in my opinion, if I was dating someone and they were sending nude pictures to other guys, that's a form of cheating in my opinion. And I'm not saying that when she was doing an OnlyFans, per se, she was cheating because she might have been single. But I'm saying the fact that it's out there and the fact that she had that judgment means that who knows if she's not going to feel the same way in the future. So no, I could not take someone like that home to my parents because of that just terrible judgment of being, what's on the internet is forever, no matter what you think. People pay thousands of dollars to get things wiped off the internet and it still doesn't work. There's evidence of that. Literally half of our politicians have to pay lawyers and pay groups, organizations that specialize in taking crap off the internet and old tweets and stuff, but all this stuff is archived. So no.
You get more of an explanation. No, I would not. No, you don't. If you have an OnlyFans at any point in time, we have different values. We are not lining up.
What What is a value in a girl that I wouldn't know? I've never dated a girl with an OnlyFans, or at least that I know of. What do you think that their values are that are different? Like what are your values compared to theirs, which would make them think that this is okay?
So this is going to be controversial, 100%.
Here we go.
But I don't think that if you put stuff like that on the internet that you have the self-worth that I need you to in a relationship. And I know that a lot of girls think it's empowering and things like that, and you can think that, and I could be wrong. But as far as the way that I see the world, you don't value yourself in a way that I could, really like get myself to marry and fall in love with you. And I don't date random girls. I don't date random girls. I date to marry. That is my only goal out of dating people. And so, like, would I go on a date with a girl for an OnlyFans, like, just for fun? Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about get into a serious relationship with a girl, knowing that my goal was to marry her. No, 100%. Because I'd have to look myself in the mirror and be like, at one point in time, that girl valued herself so little that she sold her entire body for money. Yeah. And to, like, those values to me just don't line up to my own, where it's like, if I couldn't go on the internet and sell my body, like, I would be like, okay, like, it doesn't matter how much money it is. Like, I don't value money like that either. Yeah. That would be another value where it wouldn't line up to where, like, your personal value and your personal, like, experience is, like, not worth an amount of money. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't do something that I went against my beliefs for any amount of money.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's online prostitution. I mean, not prostitution, stripping.
Yeah,
it's literally you're a stripper. I wouldn't date a stripper. It's the modern stripper. You get on your phone when you're bored and you go and look on OnlyFans. I mean, and pay money.
Like, okay, can we get into another point here with OnlyFans? This is not where we saw this topic going at all. How big of a simp do you have to be to pay for an OnlyFans, dude?
God,
guys, I'm just gonna put one thing out there. There's literally free porn on the internet. I swear, you can look it up.
And I have my own opinions about that too.
Well, yeah, but that's not what I'm advertising. I'm just saying you don't have to pay money. The girls are just as hot. They're just as naked. I don't get the point.
I don't get it either. It's never even crossed my mind. Even when I've seen it advertised, and I've seen girls I know that are advertising it. I'm like, who would pay money for that? Like
that picture's not for you. Even if you know who she is, that picture's not for you. I don't care what money you're paying.
I know. I agree. It's the most backwards thing of just like that almost is less self-respect for yourself than the girl posting it.
Oh, I think 100% it's less self-respect. If you have to go out and pay money, like, okay, go into a strip club, at least, you know, if you do that with your buddies, you get a whole experience. It's a night out. You get some fun time with your friends.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not OnlyFans, dude. You're sitting alone in your room and you're like, I'm so down bad that I'm going to give this girl $10 to see her naked.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you are the worst definition of a simp. That is the worst thing I've ever heard.
If any of our listeners are subscribed, or I don't even know how it works. You subscribe, I assume you pay a certain fee.
I thought you just paid like per picture. Is that not how it works?
I don't know. I think it's a subscription because they say subscribe to my OnlyFans when they're advertising.
You like pay for like a month?
I think maybe a year. I don't know. Maybe you can set it up however you want. Regardless, if any of our listeners are subscribed to girls on OnlyFans, no matter how much money you're paying, if it's 1 cent a picture, whatever, stop,
dude. That girl would. I'll put a bet out there, dude, for real. Any girl would never date a guy that subscribed to her OnlyFans. Seriously, date a guy. She might hook up with a guy. She might, have a fling with a guy. That girl's not marrying some guy that subscribed to her OnlyFans. And if she does, she's not the type of girl you want to marry anyways.
That's a good point. I was about to say, I was like, there's probably some cases out there, but man, you're probably right. Like that, I would.
Because you have to be a simp. Girls don't want to marry absolute simps. Now, we're not talking about the guy that's really good to his girlfriend, but actually has control in the relationship and does things to do things for his woman. But the guy that's just I'll do anything. I'll pay for your naked pictures, God, dude. I'll do whatever.
Just let me kiss your toes. No, that is the most unattractive thing ever to a girl. It's just what do you do? Stop laughing. It's true. That's literally what.
I thought of a name when you said that.
God, but come on, dog. Regardless, the fact of the matter is, those guys are. It's not even just. It's beyond simp. It's beyond simp. You have to show some self-respect. It's sad. It really is sad.
Can we come up with another word? We're going to come up with another word before the next podcast that's past scrib. Is scrib past simp?
No, scrib is in its own category, and we'll get to the definition of scrib sometime. Maybe this weekend. But regardless, don't sub to OnlyFans. Show yourself some self-respect, and literally, these girls are not worth it. She's never going to talk to you, and the only way you're going to get her to talk to you is to actually be a man and go out of your comfort zone and do it, rather than going and commenting on her Instagram and her OnlyFans. I don't know if you can comment on OnlyFans, but I assume you can.
Also, though, we're not recommending that you talk to OnlyFans girls. That's not part of our suggestions.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so that's a little backwards. Go find someone who's, worth...
Quit your subscription to OnlyFans and then go spend your time on another woman instead of simping over some girl that posts her body naked on the internet.
Get out of your bed and go outside and find a girl. Whether that be, behind a dumpster, that's probably better than an OnlyFans girl at this point. Seriously. It's
meth head or OnlyFans girl, give me the meth head.
I swear. Dude,
at least she knows what her life's about.
She does
finding
know
her next score of meth.
Swear to God. And she will do anything. And let me tell you, she can survive. She can survive. And a girl on OnlyFans, man, she can't do anything other than take pictures. That she would just whip you to no avail. A girl on meth, No, man. She would take care of you because she'd be like, I need that $5. Please, I need that $5. I'll do anything. I'll wash your car. I'll do anything. So,
and that girl on OnlyFans too, you got to remember that all those other guys that subscribed, she still knows that they subscribe.
Oh, yeah. No.
And so,
you're not the only set of eyes looking at that. What do you... Okay, here's a good one.
We went down a rabbit hole a little bit there.
No, I'm going to keep going. What do you think of guys who date girls with OnlyFans? Because that is common. I mean, half of these girls that are on OnlyFans are in relationships too, and I've seen interviews and stuff on other podcasts where guys are just like, yeah, it doesn't bother me. I know that it would bother most guys, but I mean, there's big names out there. Not going to name drop, but there are big names out there on YouTube and stuff that are dating OnlyFans girls. Like, what do you think of a guy like that?
You're soft as shit.
Yeah,
you're absolutely soft as shit. Like, some of those girls are really hot. Like, I'm not going to sit here and argue that. Some of the girls that post stuff on OnlyFans. I'm just saying, to any guy out here, this would be what I would tell you. To any guy out there, I can spend $10 and see your girl naked. Like, that's all it takes. Yeah. I can spend $10 and I can see every inch of your girl. If you're comfortable with that, that ain't me.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think I don't
like
think
I want you to like I want to instead of taking it online, because I feel like anything online is just so like different, and I feel like it's valued differently. Yeah. Imagine you're dating a girl and I walk up to you, give you $10, and your girlfriend takes all of her clothes off in person. Like, think of it that way.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's so much, like, when you picture it like that, you're like, okay, literally any person in the world now, since it's online, can walk up to me, give me $10, and see my girl naked. And you just got to
sit there and take it.
Because you did make your own bed in that relationship. The girl is not at fault there at all. You just started to date a girl who was an online stripper. Yeah. That's what I'm going to start calling it now. I like that.
It is. It's online stripping. It is online stripping. That's exactly what it is. In fact, it's in my opinion, worse because of how much more people you can see it. If you were stripping in a strip club, there is, and there's a bouncer that can kick someone out.
Yeah.
Online, man, the creepiest people could be looking at you, and all they have to do is pay whatever.
Yeah.
It's gross in my opinion. Is that an immediate? What if you were dating a girl, and absolutely say you were in love with her, right? Things were going great, and she was just like, hey, I want to start an OnlyFans. I want some more money in my pocket.
Are the options I break up with her or she starts an OnlyFans?
What do you do? What do you say to her?
I immediately break up with her as soon as she asks the question.
Even just her considering it.
Oh yeah, like obviously you'd have to like gauge the situation. So this could be a joke, but like if she's being dead serious, I want to start an OnlyFans. Our values don't line up. It's the same concept to me. If you have any desire to sell your body on the internet, I can't date you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's crazy how that culture is, and
it's so bad. It's so bad for everybody involved.
The problem is that happens. That has literally happened to a lot of dudes out there online, especially like YouTubers and stuff. A lot of them are dating girls who are on OnlyFans, and a lot of them have like just like gone with the flow. Like, oh no, now my girl's putting pictures of herself online. Like, screw that. What's sad though is the fact that the dudes, first of all, are not empowered enough to like make it just stop, like break up with her, and the girls think that it's just a-okay, and they're just the empowerment thing of like, well, no, I can do whatever I want. And it's like, okay, give it 5 years, give it 10 years, you're not going to be hot shit anymore, and all of a sudden there's going to be a bazillion pictures of you out there, and every dude that's going to look at you is going to be like, wow, she was hot, but except now she's not as hot, and
there's a new OnlyFans girl. If that's what your profession is, there's always going to be a younger, hotter version of yourself.
Exactly. And that person that now has all their pictures online, that doesn't go away either. So you're playing against a stacked deck.
I think that a lot of people are gonna think like that we're like against this. As far as like if you want to do an OnlyFans, you do your own thing. Like, you have that freedom. This is America. You can post naked and take pictures and sell that shit online.
Whatever, man.
Do you? But if you think that at some point in your life, when you meet someone like, and you don't regret that, there's something wrong with you. Like, if you meet the person that you're like, man, I really want to spend the rest of my life with this person, and you don't somewhat regret, like, okay, like, literally every person in the world could have seen my body.
Yeah.
I actually feel like there's something wrong with your mindset towards life. Like, you should value yourself more to where it's like, okay, like, honestly, when I get married, when I find the person I'm going to marry, I'm going to feel like shit for sleeping with other people. Like, for real. I'm going to be like, man, I wish I would have waited. I wish I would have waited. I can't imagine the amount of guilt and the amount of, like, regret I would have if I literally posted my body for every single person to see on the internet. Well,
I think that, again, the reason you look at it like that, most of those girls will not feel that way. They will feel like it was there. It was, I don't need nobody to tell me what I'm going to do. And so they're not going to care.
I don't think that's true. I think a lot of them will get to the point where they're like, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they all will just be like empowerment forever. But I think when you get to an age where you're like rationally making mature decisions, you'll be like, I kind of wish I wouldn't have done that. And a lot of them won't admit it too, because they'll be like, I made a crap ton of money. But that's the thing. I don't value money over my values. If you put money over your values, then you're never going to regret that decision. But if your values are top of mind, and that, like, to me, I think money's important. Money's very important. It's one of the most important things because of how influential it is to preserve your values and to do the things you want to do. But if it takes compromising every part of yourself to do so, money's not that important.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's not everything at all. Even I would way rather be with a girl who doesn't even work, and I don't want that. I think that I don't necessarily want a girl to just stay home all day every day.
If they're okay with it, I want that. That's what I want.
Hear me out. So yes, I would be comfortable with that, but I am happy with someone who has their own career path and something, because then it's something that we can both discuss at the end of the day, and to me that is important. But when all your money's made doing that, imagine coming home at the end of the day. Like, how was your day? Oh, it was great. I had 3 new subscribers that saw my
genitalia.
Fill in the blank, So
I took a great picture of my titties today.
Yeah, great.
That's a great day for my wife.
Yeah, jeez. But I don't know. I think that I think this whole like OnlyFans, like social media, even and being so I don't even know the right word, scandalous online, I think will fade. I think that eventually there will be a big class of girls who found pleasure in putting pictures of themselves online, and there's gonna be and they're gonna be very single, because there's gonna be a big class of guys who are also not interested in that, and it will become popular to be like, we're not gonna deal with this, and hopefully the simps that are subscribing end up waking up and realizing what am I doing? Like, just look at what you're supporting. It's disgusting.
Even if you don't find it disgusting as a dude, you should still be embarrassed that you're subscribed. Like, we make fun of simps, and simps, I feel like simps is so overused in our society, because, like, a guy gives his girlfriend a gift, and you're like, oh, that's a simp. No, that's not a simp.
I agree.
But the guys that are literally sitting there and they're like paying for OnlyFans subscriptions and going in there and supporting these women, like, respect yourself. Like, if guys would literally just respect theirself and know their value, and that's one of the things that I think is very skewed, because guys, it's really hard to go up and talk to girls because girls have these options, and a lot of girls in public don't want to be talked to all the time, which is perfectly fine. I understand that. Like, sometimes I want to go to the bar and I want to hang out with my guy friends, and I don't want to talk to a bunch of people. I just want to have a chill night.
Yeah.
But it's so intimidating to go talk to women in person that guys are just like, strike out, strike out, strike out. Okay, well, now I'm just gonna do this, because at least there's no rejection. If I pay $10 for sure, I'm going to see this girl naked tonight. There's no doubt in my mind that will happen. But dude, you gotta keep trying. Like, if you keep putting yourself out there enough times, the best example I use is in any sport, it usually matters what percentage you shoot. In basketball, your percentage matters. Mm-hmm. In football, your completion percentage, all that stuff. In dating, your percentage doesn't mean shit. Yeah. If you go 1 for 10,000, you're married.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's all it really takes, dude.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. No, I think in regards to dating and stuff, and focusing on kind of bettering yourself and showing some respect to yourself. I think it's important, especially for the guys who maybe they've even thought about subscribing, or maybe they haven't quite yet. Maybe they've already done it. Like, literally, I get that of just like you're scared of rejection, and that is something I think you just kind of get over the older you get. Like in college, I was a little bit scared, and I would talk to girls like on Tinder or whatever, to where there's not gonna be rejection if she doesn't respond. That's fine, move on. But now now that we're older and that's kind of not the norm, you just go talk to them in person. No girl is just gonna like be like what they look like in a movie and just be like, no, like that's never going to happen.
Unless you come off creepy, and then they will.
Okay.
So if you're a normal, natural human being and you walk up to a girl and all you say is, "Hi, I'm Luke. What's your name?" Yeah. They'll be like, "Hi, my name is blank."
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, the worst case scenario, the worst, quickest rejection will be like, is, "Hi, my name's Haley. I have a girlfriend."
Yep.
Or I have a boyfriend. Well, these days, Nate, you don't know.
That's true.
But I have a boyfriend. And you'll be like, "Okay," and then you leave him alone.
And again, what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
You walk away. All right, you're a little down for like an hour. You're like,
you shouldn't even be down though. That's just, honestly, you should be happy for that guy that like his girl she was loyal.
That's true.
Just be like, "Hey, man,
true. That's happened to me. I've literally gone up to girls multiple occasions, been told that. I can think of 2 or 3 times literally that same line has been said, like, "Hey, can I have your number?" And like been told like, "Hey, I wish, but I have a boyfriend." And I'm like, wow,
that's refreshing, dude.
That is, I know. But on the side of like going and stepping into that, in my opinion, and you might disagree with me here, focus on yourself first. When you are confident in who you are, like we talked about before, and you are happy with who you are, and you're stable, and you're like, "Okay, I'm killing it right now." You either got a good job, you're stacking your money, you're working out, you're looking good, you are, you've got a good group of guys around you, got a good support staff, you got your good mentals. Then you have the confidence to go out there and be like, "Okay, listen, I got everything going for me right now. What do I have to lose?" Some girl saying, "Okay, no," or it could be girls can approach guys too. For our girl listeners, same thing. So I think what's important is to focus on yourself, and then it will come. It will come, because really for both of you and me, as soon as we started becoming more successful and really climbing the ladder in our own specific world, it's been much easier for both of us to just be like, it's going to come my way, and sure enough, it has.
Yeah. I would say that I don't disagree with that, but even if you don't feel like everything's lined up, don't wait. Just go for it. Your point stands of, you have nothing to lose. If you go to a girl you don't know, you ask her your name, and you get rejected, you are exactly the same spot you were when you started the night. You didn't know that girl's name, you didn't know that girl's number, and you still aren't talking to her.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed for you.
Well, I agree and disagree. So I agree with, you don't have anything to lose. You can just go up but in my opinion, if it's someone you think you only have one shot with, in my opinion, you wait it out, you get to that level, and then you make sure you're a step ahead. Also, if it's someone that you think, okay, this could be a recurring thing, I could see her down the road, do it now, then come back, be in better shape, have more money, etc. Yeah. Do it then.
I would say that if you're going off you're going off the just getting her number, I don't say wait. But if you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna really have one shot at this," be chill. Get her number, become friends, be like, "Hey, grow myself a little bit." And then when you're ready, you feel like you're ready. If you don't feel like you're ready to kind of take that next step, I agree with that. But just going up to a girl and be like, "Hey, what's your name? Can I get your number?" There's never any harm in that.
Yeah, it's fair. I think that's something that I've struggled with in the past too, where I'll go talk to a girl, get her number, and I'm like, you get that rush literally of just like, hell yeah, dude, I just pulled that off. And then all of a sudden you get too excited and you can blow it. I've done it. I'll be the first to admit I have literally done that. I've gone in way too hard because I'm like, I can't believe it worked. Like, here we go. Here's my shot with a girl who I'm like, okay, I only got one shot, and I still have blown it. So if that ends up happening, don't feel bad. But my advice to you is take things slowly. Literally go into it. Have a relaxed mindset of just like, all right, I'm just gonna kind of humble brag. That's what I call it. Literally, you can talk about yourself and her, be humble about what you have, but also kind of flex what you do have. Focus on your strengths when you're talking about yourself, and also hype her up for the things that she is good at or is happy with or has or whatever. And also, kind of brag about the things you are good at. Avoid the weaknesses of yourself. Don't bring those up. Don't be like, oh yeah, no, I did XYZ and it was embarrassing. Like, stop. That's girls don't want to hear that, especially early on. Yeah, later on in a relationship, of course, but don't blow it going into it and just like making a fool of yourself.
No, it's actually ironic how opposite of a take I have on that. I talk shit on myself early.
Huh.
But you have to... It depends on your personality.
I'm not saying...
No. I do exactly... No, yeah, I do that.
I'm not saying...
Well, exactly what you just said.
Not in a way where it's comical about yourself. Like,
yeah.
I'm saying, like, don't go into it and literally pointing out your weaknesses. Like, saying funny stories, of course, that's always funny because then...
Oh, no, I actually point out my weaknesses.
It brings you down to a personal level, in my opinion. It brings you down to someone's level of, like, okay, he is willing to go out of his comfort zone and talk about these things. But I'm not, in my opinion, saying don't go out there and make it known like, oh, I'm bad at talking to other girls or something like that. Like, don't
say that.
Don't go out there and talk about exes and ex relationships that you're like, oh yeah, I blew it because I did XYZ.
Number one rule: don't talk about exes ever. I mean, like, once it's serious and you have to have like the conversation of like who was I with and everything like that. Yeah. But until then, don't bring up your ex.
Yeah.
That's my biggest red flag. I'm going back to the red flag thing. If she brings up a story about her ex, like, in the middle of a conversation, I'm like, oh.
Yep.
Like, first or second date, nah. Not coming back.
No, I agree. That'd probably be my biggest red flag. That kind of in combo, because I've seen it with multiple girls that I've dated, of a men are shit attitude. I hate that. And that usually comes in combo of like, okay,
having a shitty ex.
I'm going to tell a story about a shitty ex where I'm like, I really don't need to hear this. Please stop talking.
Yeah.
Why are you still going? I'm just going to shut up and just try to block it out. And then it usually will continue into that mindset of like, men are shit. Here's why that happens. That means that girl is not over that person. If you were mature, you have moved on, you have accepted your responsibility because relationships are a two-way street, then you will not go into it thinking the other sex is shit. I have been that way. I have gone straight up, jumped back into the dating world, hating girls because I've been screwed over by them. Luke, you've probably been the same way.
I was just going to say the same thing. And I know, like, I can literally speak from your perspective of when I went into those relationships, I would talk crap on my exes.
Yeah.
And, like, now going back knowing like it was definitely because I still had some feelings that were not resolved, and I was like, okay, like I hadn't fixed myself at this point, and I just jumped in too early.
Yeah, no, that's a major red flag because that literally is evidence that okay, they are first of all not mature enough. Like I cannot stress that enough. You don't want to be with someone who's immature, and someone who is literally talking crap on an entire sex is obviously doesn't have the mental capacity or the brain power to be on someone's level who deserves some respect. Like I couldn't stand when I would be with there were a multiple that had that mindset of just like, oh, men are all just garbage. Like, oh, you're great, but like, man, like I don't need to hear that crap. Yeah. I'm a man. Like I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of the people I surround myself with, and I'm proud of my sex. If you're not okay with that, then you don't have the mental capacity to accept that men and women are different, and that you know what? I don't like a lot of girls, specific girls, but that doesn't mean I hate the entire sex.
True. But it is really easy to use the men are garbage thing from your own perspective. Like, when girls talk about it, I hate it. But it is so easy to use, like, oh, yeah, men are shit. Like, you know, like, do you ever... I don't know if you do that, but I do that all the time where it's like, yeah. Like, sorry, I apologize for my gender for doing, like, this, or this, and then acting like, you know...
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But then every once in a while you actually do it because... Sometimes men are shit. Sometimes women are shit. Sometimes men are shit. We're shit in our own ways. But not all women are shit, and not all men are shit.
So you can't generalize the entire group of them. It's just like generalizing.
Except for all women are shit.
No. See, Luke on the other side of the table here. He's not over it. So
no, I am very over it. No. And women are not shit.
Yeah, but regardless, that is so toxic. And again, that should be one of the biggest red flags of like, maybe you think you want to marry this girl, back off a little bit, let her mature, let her get over whatever she thinks is so toxic about men, or vice versa, but huge red flag, because again, I've been in that position of just like, I'm like, God, there's not a single good woman out there. There's just they're either gonna cheat, or they're gonna treat me like garbage, or they're gonna be hypocrites, etc. And then when I look into it, I'm like, you know what, I wasn't perfect either. Yeah. And you're able to look at a mature window of like, okay, here we go.
I really think that the biggest point to be made off of all of that is if they're saying things like that, they're not over an ex. Either they're still into the ex, or they haven't completely resolved their own feelings to where like they've grown through the relationship. And I think that's a big thing too, is to making sure that when you go into a relationship, make sure that you've grown out of all of your relationships. Mm-hmm. Because in my opinion, like when you truly care about somebody, like you're never going to completely get rid of feelings for somebody.
Yeah.
But like to know that those were resolved and you grew from that moment, and like, okay, like I get it, that relationship's over. I learned this, and this, and now I like can take that into my next relationship. If they can sit there and they can vocalize that to you, that's a big green flag. Is that a thing?
Yeah,
I'm going to call it a green flag.
It's a sign of strength, in my opinion. Here's how I would end it: is broken people break people. When you go into a relationship with someone who is broken and is currently broken, they will break you. And I've been that person.
I was going to say I've been that person.
I've been that person, and I've been on the bad end of that. Both ways. Broken people break people. Make sure that when you're getting into a relationship or starting to date someone, first of all, take it seriously. Don't go out there and just throw yourself around. In my opinion, it's good to really not, I wouldn't say quote unquote play the field, but yeah, go out there, go on some dates. When you find someone you're really interested in, then really take it seriously and make sure that they are on the same page as you mentally. Make sure you are moved on. Don't go out there and start breaking people, quote unquote, if you are still getting over something. That first of all is selfish, and second of all, it's only going to hurt you long run, because it will take away from you being able to recover and learn from what you just went through.
100%. I feel like being in that situation to where I think one thing, like this is going to get really personal, but I've extremely benefited from, is that I haven't really slept with a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So like, even though that I've been in these relationships where like it could have been like breaking dating wise, to where it's like, okay, like, but it didn't affect me near as much because I didn't sleep with people. And I'm not judging you if you've done that or if you haven't done that. But my biggest thing, I would actually give this advice, is to take things slow in that regard, because it hurts so much less when you end something like that and you didn't sleep with them. 100%. Like it's just a lot easier. There's not as much emotion there, and you don't break other people as bad when you don't do that. And like I feel bad about that in other regards, in times that I have gone that route. And so, like, to me, like, make sure that that's what you want before you do it.
I agree. And eventually, if you keep doing that and you make that a norm for when you do it early on, then the more people you date, the more people you're likely going to sleep with, then the less it matters down the road when you meet someone who's you really want to be long-term with. Then it means less.
And also people that value that and are, like, have high values, which is mostly to what we're speaking to here, because if you want to sleep around, like, you do you, we're not going to judge you.
Yeah.
We have people in our lives that do that. But if you're looking for a person of value down the road, at some point in time, if you continue to go down that route, there's gonna be people that have higher values, and they're gonna view you as a lower value tier because you've made those choices. Mm-hmm. And is that completely fair? Maybe not. But what else do they have to base it off of?
Yeah, and it is your choice.
Yeah.
It's your choice to do it, but you also have to struggle with the consequences if there are some.
Yeah.
So.
That was intense.
Yeah.
That wasn't supposed to get that intense, but it really did.
It wasn't, but it was good. It was a good conversation. Well, I want me to close it out here.
Yeah.
We appreciate all you guys listening. We're kind of climbing the ranks. We're getting a lot of views. It's great to see, and it is nice to see, when people reach out to us.
And keep giving us feedback.
Thoughts. Yeah, good or bad. Negative feedback is more beneficial at this point because we're so early than it is positive. But tell us what we're doing right. We want to know. Anyways, You can find us on Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. If you end up going up onto YouTube or Spotify, I don't know how Apple works, but or Apple Music. But subscribe.
Android user over there.
Yeah. But yeah, give us a sub, and again, reach out. If there's any things you guys relate to that we talk about, tell us.
Also, if you have ideas of things to talk about, like you're like, hey, I would really be interested to hear you guys talk about this, go for it. Send us a message.
I mean,
we're pretty open.
Yeah, who cares? You know where to find us. All right, guys. Well, that's the end of this podcast. I think this is episode 5.
Yep.
We'll have episode 6 coming up very shortly. I think we might record one next couple of days, but definitely we'll have a couple over the weekend that we'll post. So we look forward to seeing you guys then.
And if you made it to the end, we apologize.
We do.